Hey guys, you're listening to Te Quiero Mosh, and today I have a very special interview with
Arrogant observer. Yay, yay.
yes, with Arrogant Observer. And if you're not familiar, these two guys just go around like, okay, their whole thing is like there's 88 cities in LA, and we're gonna explore each one of them. And today it's blank. So the reason I'm interviewing Arrogant Observer today is because their latest episode was in the city of Bell. And first of all, represent. Bell. I grew up in Bell, so immediately I was like, this would be the perfect opportunity to like interview them, promote their latest episode, and just talk about what the hell, what the F is Arrogant Observer. And also like sorry. Yeah, like
Outside at Boulevard Burgers.
the mic has to be like here.
Yeah, you got to put it here.
Órale. Okay. So yeah, it came out of we came together shooting a web series. Remember, for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then we were just doing weird shit. We were doing videos, whatever we could find, and then one day we
Started a production company.
started a production company, and then
Music videos.
we entered a contest for Flaming Hot Cheetos Mexico, and it was like make a commercial for us, and we ended up winning second place. And we got a check, and we were like, hey, we have money now, let's do it. So we got a little office space, and then we're like, all right, what are we gonna do? Let's do something like that we want to do, that we can both be passionate about or excited about. And we started talking about LA. Thank you, baby. Yeah, we started talking about LA, and I've always been a big fan of Hugh Hauser. He used to have a whole show on PBS, and he was just a dork, and he would just walk up to people like mean old cholos and be like, hey, what's up with this bike? And then but he'd always come with this humility that made people made him approachable and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just wanted to do the same thing. And this guy, like, we had already had some traveling between us, right? Like our families travel together. My wife's really good friends with his wife, and we're all friends. We all have kids, so we already had the rhythm, I think, to like, hey, let's do this. Let's go play around.
Yeah. It came naturally.
Very naturally.
Okay, so I'm gonna backtrack because you literally dumped like a bunch of information. So you guys have literally made music videos. Like, can you drop some names of who you guys have made music videos for?
They're not the biggest names. I mean, this local artists. One was what's that band called? Stillwell. It's
We got money that way too.
yeah, we got some money from there.
For what song?
I don't remember, dude. Yeah. Anyways, Turn It Up. One, and then another one. A Mess I Made. There you go. Two music videos for them. We did a local band called Orchis. It was just a passion project for that one. And then what else? We did a couple of short films for
We did web series.
web series.
That we got in the what is that? What was the website? Kickstarter days.
Uh-huh.
We had a Kickstarter sort of fully funded, and we did a web series. It was like sort of this sci-fi one-room web series where it all took
Yeah.
place in a high school class.
And this hot Cheeto commercial. How
Yeah.
did it go?
It was great. It was great. I used to have this car we named Phil, and it was a 1999 Toyota Corolla. And this guy actually, our lives are so wrapped up in each other's. He had actually gone to help me buy it, and I bought it for $800. And it was one of those cars that costs you $800. It was like, okay, who gives a shit what happens to
Yeah.
this car? So we were just sort of like, I would just ride it, and we had this idea of like, hey, I don't even remember the concept. There was no real important concept. The idea was that we were going to go through a car wash with the windows down.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like a prank. Oh, the premise was it was a prank. Cheetos wanted you to do a prank, kind of fake prank thing. And so we just got friends, and we cast some kids, and then we just had the whole family sort of act like the dad was pranking them into going through the car wash with the windows down. And that was really good. It was fun. It was such a fun day because we went through it like 6 times, and like the employees were coming out and like, hey, roll your windows up, guys. Like, what are you guys doing? And they were just sort of like, getting wet, and yeah, it worked out, and it won. It was a good idea.
Cool. So y'all got money from this contest.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, let's do what we've always wanted to do.
I think it was the space. More than anything, it opened up an office space for us. And having an office space let us like literally just sit around and like talk. You know what I mean? Which is harder because like I can come over, but then I'll end up starting to drink, and it's not a
Okay.
workspace. I end up, you know, whatever. And this workspace really sort of allowed us to let our imagination go as wild as we wanted, and take serious what do we want to do. You know, so this is gonna take 10 years. It's gonna take 10 years if we really do this.
Initially, we thought we were gonna do like 2 or 3 episodes a week. I thought really it was me. I was trying to push it. It didn't work out that way. Every life just always just throws different things at you, and he was focusing mainly on like maybe an episode or 2 a month, and it kind of worked out that way the first couple episodes, and then COVID hit, and that kind of like just put like a different load on us and different things, you know, because obviously everything was shutting down. Businesses were shutting down. We were in the city of Bell at the time. We started Bell around February 13th or March. I'm not sure, but it was like, okay, so it was like 2 days later, like the whole shutdown happened, and that delayed us, and you know, here.
Okay, so you guys, like, who are these episodes for? Because I know typically when, you know, there's like LA Meekly or something, or people doing similar kind of coverage or content, but they start in like Pasadena, and they don't like, Bell is probably the last, you know, city on their list, and or it's like, I don't know. I just feel like you guys focus on like the underdog cities, which like for us that do live in these communities is kind of like, oh my god, like this is so cool. Like I remember watching the Bell Gardens videos, and everything was like an inside joke, like and even entering like the massage like thing, I was me and my siblings were dying. We're like, oh my god, this is hilarious. That only if you live here you would kind of understand it.
I think we're still sort of defining what the show is. I think when we first started, I wanted to like go far. We started in Calabasas, which is like way over there, and it's hard. It's honestly hard. Like I think we're learning as interviewers how to approach people and how to get better at it. And like here we also felt like we should cluster more. Like, hey, stick to one sort of area so that we can connect with a specific kind of person a little bit easier, instead of like trying to get, because we did like what's the city that was way over? No, not that one. La Puente. I don't know. It was a predominantly Chinese neighborhood, and it was like we didn't. Not only did we not have access, but there was difficulty in like, yeah, man, I can't just approach people as easily. It's harder. Whereas I find that like the secret, the Freemasons, the real Freemasons, are people who can speak Spanish. Porque cuando puedes hablar en español con alguien más que habla en español, te sientes a gusto, y los pones a ellos a gusto, y tú te pones al mismo tiempo a gusto, and that felt like it makes it easier to approach people. And like this is kind of what we want to do is approach people. I mean, our curiosity is what leads us most of the time. It's not what's going to give us the most hits, or it's like, hey, what's going on in this room? Right? We'll stop at barber shops and just, you know, you went and got a haircut once. It's just whatever our curiosity, you know, in the moment sort of takes us. So it's easier when it feels like home, I guess. That's what it feels like to me.
Have you ever been asked to like come through like from a business or like anything like that? Like, hey y'all, we've seen your work, come through.
Oh no, we we're open
to the idea, but
yeah, we're definitely open to that idea. The most we've ever gotten was like welcoming from like a Persian food restaurant where like I forgot her name. Apologize for that, but she literally just like cooked a whole kitchen for us.
Oh really?
Like a whole long table.
I think I saw that episode.
Yeah, full of food. We were like, what the hell is going on? We were like, she's so kind. Yeah, we were thankful for that. We're always thankful for any type of meal we get. We don't ask for it, but you know, obviously people want us to try their food. But yeah, no places actually hit us up about that. Yeah.
And are these episodes like, there's some sort of like underlying like humor in them, just like in the awkwardness, or just like people not knowing how to act and like once they're being recorded and stuff? Like, are they meant to be funny, or is that just like?
I think both of us like started with like each other, trying to make each other look like fools, and then it just naturally happens when we start editing, and then we just see things differently as far as humor-wise perspective. But Yeah, I mean, it's definitely meant to be like I mean, it's not meant to be taken seriously. I really feel like he's the one with the most. I want to say, I don't know. You have, yeah, yeah. Go for it. Yeah, you got more of a.
I think we just, but early on, it was supposed to be funnier.
Yeah, yeah.
Early on, it was supposed to be like, this guy had the idea of like, let's find somebody who's like a fucking elotero or somebody, and like, let's just bring as many people as we can to like, we'll just bomb him with orders, and like, it'll be great, and he'll get a bunch of money, and like, you know, people would recognize him. And then it became like, organizing became such a hassle. That's sort of our biggest obstacle is like coordinating, getting people to show up on the day. And it's like we both have day jobs, we have regular, you know, sort of lives, so we can't dedicate so much time to like, oh, we're only available this day to this day, we're only available these hours. So it ends up being like, hey, even getting together and being able to do it, it's hard to coordinate it. So we end up like one day, this is the day we have, and like unless there's one specific one, like, hey, the ice guy was sort of hard to find. We couldn't find him for nothing. He was so hard. All I had at first was passing the house and then seeing the ice sign in the front, and I was like, is that the ice guy? That's all I had. And so it was literally like we went up to the lady at the front house and you know, like knocking around, and like, and then finally we got able to contact, and then we made that room for him. But usually we can't sort of coordinate that, so we end up trying to be more improvisational with our humor. There's the HP episode where we saw a guy that was selling his van, you know, and he's just driving by, and this guy had the mic, and he just ran up to him and was like, "Cuánto la ven?" And we made it into this commercial thing of like, in the moment, I think we're becoming much more like, we can't plan it so well. We have to be more like immediate and in the moment, find the funny moments. But yeah, we wanted humor from the beginning. I think that was sort of the appeal, like history, whatever, the city with jokes.
Yeah, so this episode you're talking about is the latest episode, which is about the city of Bell. What was like recording that episode like? Because I've seen like some of your videos, and I feel like this is a video that you guys kind of got the most like resistance from people, or like people would just be like and walk away. Yeah. So like, what was that experience like? How is this episode different than the other ones?
COVID was the big one. We like Roland was saying, we were shooting. I mark it in my head. COVID was a Friday the 13th. That's how I lock it. That's how it is in my head. And we were shooting like that Tuesday at Border X. So we got stopped, and we had to stop everything. And then when we came back, we had the idea with Bell Gardens. That's the first episode where we were like, hey, after we shoot all the interviews, let's go out and just talk to people and see if we can get them to segue us into the. So that we liked that so much, we're like, let's do it with this one. Then we did it again, and it was different. Like, you felt like people were a little bit more afraid, obviously. Like, you're putting a microphone in somebody's face. There's a lot in our mouth situations that we're sort of being a little bit more cautious with. So it definitely felt being more intimidating. And again, that's what sort of the harder thing for us is, that we rely on an improvisational nature. Like, we could throw something out on Facebook and be like, hey, meet us here if you guys want to talk to us, and we'd probably get more people. But it's hard to coordinate things like that, so we have to like react to what we have. But sometimes some of them are positive, but they're just not interesting. Like, they'll say something super nice, and like, yeah, but it's like, oh, but you didn't, you're not on a bicycle. Like, we were just so amused by the one guy on the bicycle that we're like, hey, keep talking to him, he's on a bike. I just want to get more footage of this guy on a bike. So yeah, I think that's a product of the improvisational way that we sort of record and stuff. Bell, the ones that we want to do, we only get about half of them. Okay. Half of them, they don't respond, or we'll go in, like, sometimes we're like, Azteca Boxing we wanted to get, and and we couldn't get them on the phone, couldn't get them on Facebook, couldn't get anybody. So then we always go, like, if we have to get it, just walk in and talk, and we'll just deal with it on the day. And they wouldn't. I mean, they were just, no, I think it was like an employee was there, and he was like, oh, the owner's not here, or the manager's not here, and I need to have somebody here. So, and, Roland's gotten better at it, but always like, I'm going to grab some footage. I'm going to shoot something. Even while I'm there, like, you hear me in the background sort of trying to talk them into it, but like, he's always going to grab some footage, and we had that footage, which became poignant because it's like, oh, they didn't make it through COVID, and like, what a bummer.
Like, how much research goes into it? Because, like, specifically the Bell episode, like, even though I'm from Bell, a lot of like the spots I was not like expecting, like you know, like you guys got like the shelter or like the kind of like the community garden, which I had no idea even existed.
Yeah, that's wild. Huh?
And like the obviously the no ice guy, like the fact that you guys even found them is kind of amazing. But you guys also like interview like the Sella Art Center, which is relatively new in the community. So like, how did you guys find or like pick each spots? I know you mentioned it's like part improv and part like a little research, but like what kind of finalizes that for you?
No. I think we start with our own sort of research, right? Because I feel like this guy's a real visual dude. So he's like, I'll get on Wikipedia and be like, all right, what is this city, blah, blah, blah. And he'll be like on Google Maps and like literally just like Google Street viewing through the streets and like looking around like, oh, that's his approach. So we do some like, it'd be great to have this, it'd be great to have this. We make like a fantasy list of what we would want to get.
Yeah, there's even times where you find some random ass like things like once I found like you find some crazy things. Like once I found I think it was in Bell Gardens or Bell, some dude doing like what is it like porn books or movies?
Oh my god.
Renting them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, but we never I fell through. Yeah.
Yeah, because the way I found you guys was like literally by like chance, because I did an episode once where I interviewed Teresa Chavez, or oh my god, I'm totally butchering their name, and Nina Diaz, and basically like they did a play that was set in Bell Gardens in the 1980s, and Teresa ended up being like you know, like what is it called, like heir or something of like people that of like people that own the Adobe home.
Oh yeah.
Of like in Bell Gardens, like the first one of the oldest houses in LA County. And so like I was doing like, oh, I need footage, I need pictures, because no one's gonna believe like how am I gonna visually like explain this. And that's how I ran into like Arrogant Observer, and I was just like, these fools like walked into the trailer park and like people were like, hey, what are you doing here? You guys like, you know, stormed through. And I was like, this is perfect, this is exactly like what I needed. And so that led to like a trickle effect, like, oh my god, they have other videos. And I was like, if I was never doing this interview, I would have never like ran into you guys.
Yeah. So we're not the greatest at social media, I think. We're, you know, getting people to come, but yeah. I mean, I remember seeing this video on YouTube that was like somebody on the freeway in the 70s driving down the 10 freeway or something, and it's just like film, like, you know what I mean, and it's just driving, and I remember that feeling of like, it's really nice to be able to see this stuff, and it's gonna go away, and it goes away. And I think that's something that motivates us a lot, is like, it's gonna go away. It's gonna go away. Like, even if it gets better, it's still gonna go away, right? Like, even if gentrification comes or gentrification doesn't come, it's still gonna change. It's gonna change. And that, at least for me, gives me a lot of courage when it's something like that old ass building. Like, fucking, we gotta get this building. Like, there's no pictures of it. There's no pictures of it. Like, somebody's gonna buy it and like trash it, and like that's it. And that's something you hear a lot of complaints about LA, is like other places, even Mexico City and New York, like they leave some shit around and like, hey, this is what we were like 100 years ago. And LA is like, fucking knock it down and put some shit up. Like, it just disappears. So part of this, especially when it's something important, when it's something dumb like a massage parlor, they're like, all right, we didn't get it. Yeah. But yeah, that always gives me courage when we're shooting something like that. But we rely on each other's courage a lot. Honestly, like, I don't know what exactly it is, like what gives me more courage in certain situations and what gives him more courage. But like a lot of times I'm not in the mood. Like, no, we can't. This is weird. Or they're uncomfortable. Or I didn't like the way the lady looked at me. She doesn't want us in here. And Roland's like, we're gonna do it. And like sometimes I'll be doing it, and then like we sort of like a plane, we just get behind the other person. Like, all right, I'm gonna follow your momentum. We'll just work with it.
Have you guys like done your cities yet, like your hometowns?
Yeah, we did. The first one was Linwood, city of Linwood. Focused on whatever we thought was weird, oddities, weird stories, like the knife man story. We had some friends sit down and made him look mysteriously. He had that was pretty dope. And I mean, we went to Plaza Mexico. I mean, yeah, we tried to film as much as we could from inside there, so we had to, we had to literally use our
Yeah.
camera footage, because cell phone footage, because they didn't allow our so-called professional camera,
Yeah.
And it was fun regardless. The rules are there for a reason. We didn't want to break them, but we still managed to get it, there was a lot of fun things in Linwood still other things that we missed, but that's, and exactly that. But yeah, it was easier too. Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the things we wanted to do, which became the hardest thing to do, was to get the mayor of each city to introduce the episode.
Okay.
Like, hey, let's introduce some civic shit. Like, this is who's in charge at this year at this time. And because I think we have roots in Linwood, because we have people in Linwood and we know people, it was a lot easier. And that's sort of why we did it. I think to all right, let's do it in a place that we're safe and we know we can get cooperation and people to work with us. So we got the first mayor, and then we got the second mayor, I think Duarte. Mm-hmm. But then it became such a scheduling thing that it was like, nah, we can't do it. It's impossible.
Okay. And can we talk about the next episode? Because you guys kind of hinted that it's going to be in Southgate. And so you guys kind of put a call out for interesting spots.
Yeah. That usually works. What I found that really works the most is the Facebook group.
Okay.
Actually, because a lot of the stuff that's the known stuff is easy. You're going to get that on Instagram. You're going to get that really easy. But the stuff that's not known is usually it's some 40-year-old fool in a Dodgers jersey that's going to be oh no, you got to get these burgers, and he's on Facebook. He's not going to be on Instagram. He's just not. So Facebook's got the older heads, and I feel they're super commenters too. Mm-hmm. They're not oh, I liked it and that's it. They're no, they're going to give you a paragraph of shit. So we get a lot of really good research from that. A lot, I think.
Do you have? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And it's regional. It's not some BuzzFeed fucking webpage or something that's somebody just.
Do you have some spots already that you're that would be interesting? For sure, I'm gonna try to get that. Or is that a surprise or?
No, we both have our own spots that we want to hit in certain cities, but it just in the end it always boils down to just cities that we really don't want to do yet.
Yeah.
You're saying in Southgate, is there spots that we have?
Yeah.
Oh no, not yet. No.
You don't want to give them up? You do that. What are you talking about?
I know what I want, but not yet. I can't say it. I don't know if I'm gonna get it. That's why.
Oh,
okay, but
we may have to cut it so it doesn't interfere with our ability to negotiate and talk with them.
Okay, yeah.
Are you talking about the Allen?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So, so to me, the Allen. I mean, the joke that I always like to say is, to me, because we were born and raised in Linwood. Mm-hmm. To me, Southgate is Shelbyville.
Yeah.
It's Shelbyville. So it's always get out of here, Southgate. Fuck you guys. But I grew up.
That's Hector's remark. That's not me. I used to work at the Allen Theater. I think the Allen Theater's cool.
But at the same time, you grew up next to the Southgate, and it's we visited. That was where, to me, that's where the Blockbuster was. That was a lot of places that I needed in my life didn't exist in Linwood, and Tweety had them, So our movie theater was the Allen Theater. My movie theater, when it was still a movie theater, it was the Allen Theater, and I used to play arcades in there, and I used to play the fucking the Jungle games, some old Atari games, and then you have a whole history with shows when it became a musical.
Yeah, I'm literally, that's my next question.
Yeah, we'll just pass it over. We all have history,
Yeah.
Can you tell me, okay, because obviously, I was too young for the Allen.
Yeah.
It's literally, something people talk about existed, but if you pass by, it's, completely dead. Can you tell me, the heyday of the Allen when it was, a punk, venue?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was beautiful. It was just a venue for local kids. There was punk, ska, mainly shows. And I was in charge of the hardcore and metal shows. But yeah, most of the time the biggest shows were punk and ska. They were pretty much booked by a guy named Clemente Ruiz, and the owner was John Riley. John Riley. Wait, that's not. That's the actor, right? John C. Riley. What's his name?
You heard it right here. John C. Riley. You stoned the Allen Theater.
John Riley. I think his name is John Riley. Yeah, John Riley though. And it's been years.
What happened? Why did it close down?
Technically, I think the owner sold the business to a guy named Iza, the guy that used to own the Showcase Theater in Corona. And I'm not sure what happened after that. I'm pretty sure something happened with the politics in the city of Southgate and the idea of somebody new coming into the city and trying to change the venue. And I have a feeling it had to do with that. I'm not sure exactly, though. But there's a book out there that talks about the whole scene and how it was, partially about it. Because I think it's an overall general outlook of Los Angeles punk and ska scene. But yeah, it was awesome. Kids always came from all throughout Southern California, for these shows. Most of the times, there was no fighting, nothing. It was just pure fun, like 100% fun. No alcohol was served. All ages venue. So I mean, it was one of the most important places for kids around the neighborhood. I left unfortunately in 2006, early 2006, and then after that, I think it got sold like 2008 or 9 maybe. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was pretty much fun.
I've heard like stories that like Skrillex used to go there. And
Maybe,
like,
maybe, yeah.
insane. Do you follow like this guy, Rock Archivo on Instagram?
I saw his. Yeah, I saw his
Yeah.
posts. I saw a couple of his posts, yeah, but I
Okay,
don't follow
shout
him.
out
Yeah.
Jorge
follow
Leal.
him. Yeah.
No, yeah, because he has content like that. Through that page, I discovered like the music history in Southgate. When if you grow up here, like I don't know, at least for me, it never crossed my mind that we even had that type of history here.
HP2.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
rich.
All like the music shows, like underground scene. And I'm like, what? Literally,
Linwood
like
had a scene. Linwood had a scene too.
Linwood, I mean, he used to play in music. I used to play music in Linwood. We used to play all around through these cities, like Cudahy, Huntington Park, what else? Southgate. There was a lot of shows in Southgate. Linwood had its own shows. Everything was all backyard back then. Yeah. Yeah. So before the Allen Theater, the same guy that started it, he opened a small little venue in Linwood called Our House. It was called Our House, and I believe like in 2001 or 2, he managed to get like a lease on the Allen Theater, and that's when the Allen Theater opened up. Yeah. I mean, like I said, the Allen Theater was like the venue for kids, at that time. Yeah, 2002 through 2009 or whatever it was. Yeah. Yeah, but it was fun. Beautiful fucking fun times with everybody. I mean, all these kids came through. There was always scenes, from the punk side, the ska side, ska core, metalcore, metal, hardcore. Dude, there was so many genres going through there. It was fun. Even hip-hop. Yeah, there was a lot of hip-hop stuff, too, so.
Well, I can't wait to like if you guys even include a snippet of that in the next episode. I would be like super
flagship.
excited.
I think if Southgate had a flag, they'd have to put the Allen Theater on there.
Clemente Ruiz, you're going to have to be on that.
Who was the actor you called out first?
Nancy Riley also.
Sorry, Sarah. I forgot your dad's name.
Oh my god! When I think of Southgate, though, like I think of like Cypress Hill. So if you guys put that in there somehow, what's the guy's name?
Be Real.
Yeah, Be Real. This is a call out to you too.
One of the things that we would do a lot in the early ones is, and it's nobody thinks it's funny. Like whenever we show it to people, nobody ever laughs, but we would make ourselves laugh a lot. When there's somebody famous in the city, we'd make a mask, and then we would stand in front of the 7-Eleven. And then just make the joke that like, oh, like we were, we're at Linwood and like, oh, Weird Al's hanging out in front of the 7-Eleven. And it would just be me like doing a dumb dance or something. They were terrible, but they were kind of, I think we ended up laughing. Like when we did fucking Calabasas, we did a Kanye West and a Kim Kardashian one. I think we made masks for each. I forgot why. Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm gonna switch it over to Hector because you like coincidental. How do you say the word?
Serendipity.
Okay, you released like what is it? Like, it's a book full of like short stories.
Originally, it was gonna be like a dictionary.
Okay.
It was gonna be just like, here's the things that I think are what is amusing or interesting about being Mexican.
Yeah, it's called Things I Learned About
being Mexican.
By my
Things
mom?
my mom taught me
Okay.
about being Mexican.
And I think that's very interesting because I feel like it really does go hand in hand with like Arrogant Observer, because it kind of does like capture that experience of like everyday life with just a glimpse of it, where you just get like the real meat of it. That's just like, I don't know, like you read it and then you're like, I get it, like, you know.
Yeah.
So can you talk about like your book?
This one is probably because of the COVID break. You know, everybody had time to sit down. I think somewhere I started thinking about maybe dying. Like, oh, this might be it. I might die. And I've got 2 girls. Roland's also got 2 girls. And I think, you know, it's a really common concern to be a parent of any culture that has some, like, roots that you want to pass on. And, like, any stuff that you want to pass on, there's always this, like, all right, they're American kids, but they're, like, losing the other stuff. They're losing the other stuff, you know, whatever that is. And so I just started writing it down, like, without structure, without anything. Just hey, and, like, the most random thing. Like, I like stupid details. I like the little small things, not like the obvious stuff, which is great, and it's beautiful, and, like, Loteria is a great game and all that, but, like, Mario Almada, like, I love that guy's fucking face. I've always loved that guy's face. And, like, those are the things that, like, I don't think they'll make it to the book. They won't make it to the dictionary, you know? Yeah. So I tried to, like, get the pettiest things that I could think of, the smallest things, and anecdotal stuff. And then when I had, like, hundreds of pages, and it was like, oh, what am I going to do with this? Yeah. And then later on, I started cutting, and there was just so much fluff in there that some of them would be down to, like, 20 words, and I was like, oh, it's a poem. That's when I realized, like, oh, if this is exactly what I wanted to say. And I didn't, like, you know, Ensenada, I couldn't figure out how to say what I wanted to say, and then it was like, oh, fucking Tijuana for people who are scared of Tijuana, and, like, that was it. That's exactly what I wanted to say about Ensenada. Like, so some of them I was able to cut short, and then from there, once I figured out, like, oh, I can make them poems, I can make them not structural, not logical, not, like, tell a story, then it got a lot easier, and it went faster, like, it came together a lot faster after that.
Cool. Okay, so this next portion, I hope you're ready for it, but I actually brought a copy of your book, which I'll be raffling on my, well, I can't say raffle, I don't know, IG has weird rules.
Rifa. It's una rifa.
But so you guys can get your own copy by purchasing it on the website, but or you can win it on my Instagram page. But if you can pick your favorite short story and just, like, read it.
All right, I'm gonna read Xochitl, which is one of my favorite ones. XO Chill. There you were in kindergarten, learning how to write your name. Lily and Sam on either side, big fat pencils scribbling easily. Meanwhile, there's this train wreck of letters in front of you. A crowd of consonant warriors with O and I shrinking in fear. Still, your name comes with a 1,000-year-old certificate of authenticity. Flower in our first tongue before Spain lost our files, erased our past. Even in saying the name, it feels like you're invoking something bloody and magical. Names usually tell you more about the parents than the kid. Many of us struggle to teach them Spanish, others reach even further back. Software always thinks Xochitl is misspelled. A wavy red line, like a question mark, like Cuauhtémoc. Gmail shrugs its shoulders. What is this? Not everything has been absorbed. That's it. Yeah.
10 out of 10. I love that. And that's, like, I mean, that's just an example, but that's literally, like, every story. It kind of, like, I don't know, it makes you feel cool. Because, I mean, growing up brown, and I didn't really feel this until I got into, like, college and stuff, because I went to UCLA, and it's obviously, like, a white school, you know, and you feel, like, out of place and stuff, and it makes you feel uncomfortable to be yourself. And so, like, I feel like books like this, content like the ones that you guys are making, kind of make me like, hell yeah, we're fucking cool, like, in our own fucking way, you know. And so, like, I love that, and so I appreciate you guys, what you guys are doing. Yeah, going back to Arrogant Observer, how can people watch your content?
Hold on.
Some road rage.
That sometimes when we're shooting Arrogant Observer, that stuff happens, and that's usually the best. When
You
it's
run
like
to
just
it?
random things. We are on. We post the episodes on YouTube and on Facebook and on Instagram. Yeah, especially since they start allowing longer format videos. We were gonna try to chop it up for a while, but so yeah, we put them all on there, and then we cut the segments up and put the segments up so that they can be a little more shareable and a little more sort of easy to access.
Cool. Is there like, I mean, obviously you guys have a new episode that's in the works, but like anything else like related, like